Welcome to another episode of 2021 War Room Reports. I'm Charles Barnes, your host. Today, we're just going to go over a live mock draft using the Draft Network's mock draft machine. We've had an excellent series so far, a lot of my individual breakdowns as well as guest featured episodes, and we really went through the class very well. And right now, I just want to show a tutorial for those that don't know how to draft and find this information, as well as show the process that I'd be going through if I was in that draft room for the Tennessee Titans. Some of my strategies, what would I be thinking, and some players that I really like. So without further ado, let's get this thing popping. I'm going to share the screen. 1 second. There we go. So we got action. Let me move this to the center. See if we can move my video to the center. Boom. So obviously I'm going to be picking for the Tennessee Titans next. So you will want to go to the draftnetwork.com and then find the mock draft machine. I've just selected the Tennessee Titans. So they have a predictive board, which I suggest to do. The number of rounds that I want to do is 7. Hold up. Let's get this thing right. Is it not picking up because I'm so close? What's going on here? How can I select that? There it goes. So 7 rounds. We can go normal. There we go. Let's start the draft. So in this draft, I think overall for the Tennessee Titans, the mindset should be, best player available. And I think that's the most surefire way to get the job done is just to find players that, can ball. It's very simple. I think the process of drafting is hyped up by the media. It's really just another form of player acquisition. It's about looking at your roster, looking at strengths, weaknesses, looking at, your free agency period. Where were strengths in that area, and then look at the draft, where are the strengths there, and just try to play the game, play the chess match of trying to find value and getting your guy. So, you look at the big board here. I don't really do big boards that kind of mix positions. I think it's jumbled. I can't really see it very well when it's all mixed positions. I don't understand collective big boards yet, but, I don't do those. I kind of do a horizontal board, basically a top 20, top 25, top 30 rankings of each position. I think that works better for me. But with the Tennessee Titans at pick 22, you're looking at who's here. I mean, everybody's here that you would want. Bateman's there and wide receiver. You look, Elijah Moore just went 1 pick ahead of Bateman there. And I think you either pick Bateman if you like Tony's ability as far as a street baller, a guy that's very elusive in the open field, or do you take an edge? Aziz Ojulari is there on my top edge. I think Kwity Paye is more of a poor man's Terrell Suggs. I think he could be a little bit more twitchy. He's a power guy. And then from there, a lot of people like cornerback. I don't like cornerback in the first round at all. I think in the second round, you'll find more value there. So for me, you definitely stick on wide receiver. And something that I just tweeted was a practice that I use is, let's just say Devontae Smith, for example. He's the guy that won the Heisman. He had 20 plus touchdowns. And I look at these wide receivers who weren't in the same situation. So I look at the Rashad Batemans of the world. I look at Elijah Moore of the world, even Kadarius Toney. If you drop Bateman, Moore, or Toney in that Alabama situation being target number 1, wide receiver 1, what would they do? And I think if you put Bateman or Moore there, you'd have similar or better numbers. And these guys have, 20 plus pounds on, or close to it on Devontae Smith. So with that being said, I mean, it's been mocked a lot for quite some time. It was in my 2021 game plan. Rashad Bateman is the pick there. I think in some ways he's very similar to Devontae Smith, but he's bigger. So this makes a lot of sense for me. Tennessee Titans take their wide receiver that's going to basically be better than Corey Davis, in my opinion. How soon will that happen? Not sure, but he's certainly a better prospect than Corey Davis in my eyes when I was evaluating both coming out. So, with that being said, let's hold up. You guys, never mind the noise in the background. We got a full house per usual at my house. So if you don't have a big family, you don't know how that feels. But right, I got a big family. So if you hear any noise in the background, it's kids. It is what it is. But anyway, now we're at the situation where we have the ability to go corner. Like I said, there's great value at this spot because it's going to be a run. Like let's say I go in a different position in this round. There's going to be a run. So most of these guys, in my opinion, will probably be gone before the next time I pick. So it's important for me and imperative for me to pick a guy here. There's another guy I really like in Peyton Turner as far as the edge rusher. So it's all about weighing, who do you like here? Who's your guy? Who do you really feel strongly about? And do you think that you can get another guy later? And you just look at your evaluation. Who do you have stacked higher? I think at corner, does it get any better than Asante Samuel Jr., Elijah Molden? Eric Stokes is not there. I believe he was taken, by the Eagles, 16 picks earlier. So with that being said, I'm not sure that you want to miss out on the potency right here. Personally, I have Elijah Molden ranked higher than every cornerback here, but I do like Asante Samuel's ability. I think that he can fit in a zone scheme perfectly. I mean, if you don't like Asante Samuel's size, then you don't like Elijah Molden's size because Samuel's slightly bigger and he has a little bit more ability on the outside. So this is going to be a tough one for me, but I have to trust my board. I have Mojo, Elijah. I just combined both his names. Elijah Molden. I have him ranked a little bit higher due to his versatility, and I have to stay true to how I feel about that. My gut feel is Elijah Molden, and just simply because the versatility. Molden can play. If I was to rank his ability as a cornerback or defensive back, I would say that slot defender would be one for him. Safety, split safety would be 2, and then outside corner would be 3. And then if I was to rank Asante Samuel, him as an outside corner would be 2, and then him as a slot guy would be 1, ideally. So it's just, but then that safety aspect of Molden was a separator for me because it's versatility. You don't know who will go down. You don't know what will happen. And we look here, we're still at corner. Some action has taken place, but I feel comfortable with what I've done. Now we get to look at the interior position that we might need to address in this draft as well. We look at tight end. We look who's there, safety, offensive tackle. I think people are kind of stressing too much about the offensive tackle position to some degree. I think it's a bit overhyped. But at the same time, I can understand, them being a bit, uncertain about the future there. So I know that I'm going to pick it at pick 100. So right now I have to be very careful about who I pick. I have to make sure that it's the right guy, obviously, but definitely a guy that I really, really like, that I can stand on, that I feel very strongly for. And when I look at who's remaining, to be honest, I really like Forsyth here. He's a guy that when you put on tape against the best competition, my top edge rusher, he was able to stalemate Azeez Ojulari, and he's played in the SEC, he's played with the big boys. He's has excellent size, 6'5 plus 320 type of guy. I feel very comfortable about those type of guys with sudden movement skills. Is he the best athlete? No, but he's a stalwart. He's a mammoth, I should say. I got to expand my term usage, but he's a huge guy. I really like his game, and I feel like the value here is substantial compared to other positions and where I think at pick 15 we may go, especially with that gap that they have with this predictive board. I feel like this is a very good value pick. Stone Forsythe out of Florida, SEC guy. He's battle tested, and then when you pair that size, ability, and then the school that he went to, I mean, you gotta love it. So now I have a good feeling of where I'll go. I feel like I'm gonna tend to the trenches a little bit here. Feel very comfortable tending to the trenches. Guy that I really like out of North Carolina State, who's I've been comping. I'm sure others have been comping here. I do have, I will have to say, I do have Jalen Twyman higher on my board, and here's where the separation comes for me. It's the athleticism from McNeil. Twyman is extremely linear, has stiff hips. So in my opinion, I think Aleem McNeil is better for versatility, and and I just really like his character as well. So he's a guy that I think that can play nose tackle for the Tennessee Titans, be able to command double teams upon occasion, and help out other guys in that front seven. So there we go with Aleem McNeil, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But like I said, these first few selections for the Titans are just based off of guys that are difference makers, and provide versatility. And I think that's important, having guys that can do multiple things. That's going to give you the best opportunity to win games and ultimately a championship. So right now we've addressed. Let's look at my picks. We've addressed wide receiver, cornerback, that right tackle and left tackle position, and then you have interior defensive linemen. And I feel like this is a good group of guys. But now we need to go back and double dip at wide receiver. We got to see who's there, because we do need variance there. I mean, right now at this point, if it was week one, we would have AJ Brown, Rashad Bateman, and Josh Reynolds. That would be your starters. But when those guys need a break, or if one of them gets injured, you need a high value guy in one of these spots with a different type of game that brings something different to the table. You look at the players that's remaining that provide something different to the game. Is I can't help but see Anthony Schwartz there with that kind of 4.25 speed. You have Josh Palmer, who is more similar to Bateman in terms of a possession guy that can also stretch the field. You got a smooth guy like Shaw Smith, but that's further down the road. But you look at this, you're not going to get many speed guys for the remainder of this draft. And when you look at where the Tennessee Titans may pick next, which I don't have exactly where they'll pick, but this is the fourth round. They're not going to pick to at least another 30 rounds. I mean, 30 picks, I believe. I don't think they have multiple fourth round picks. So will one, two, three, four, will we last four wide receivers? Who knows? Another position that is not being drafted to the Titans at all is running back. I think people are resting on their laurels too much with our depth that we have, that I'm not really comfortable with it. Ramondre Stevens is there. Stevenson is there, who I really believe is an excellent player. I think that he's a light-footed guy. Reminds me of LeGarrette Blunt a lot. Kylan Hill, a guy who I'm really high on. Javian Hawkins, who's a speedster. Um, let's work through this. We have not taken an edge player yet. I liked Rashad coming out. He's a bit stiff, undersized type of guy. Poor man's Cameron Wake. So edge, I don't really like the edge right now. I mean, I like it, but I don't love it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like it, but I don't love it, and I'm not sure how much better it's gonna get when you start making these selections. Now, who's really gonna take this team to a different level? You got Dalen Hayes there, but he's later. Who's gonna be a difference maker? Tight end, haven't taken one of those yet. You look at who's left. I really like the remaining tight ends, linebacker for depth. So I guess I have to revert back to, my rankings. Who do I have higher? who is a high value guy. And to be honest, if you're looking for a linebacker safety hybrid, Jacoby Stevens is sitting right there, man. You're looking for that hybrid type of guy. Jacoby Stevens is sitting right there for the taking, right? Tight ends is there, but Stevens is right there. And then when you talk about, value, same thing for Talanoa Hufanga. But you talk about value, I don't think it gets any better than that. Sorry. I have to go Stevens here because he has the versatility to play linebacker as well as play safety. And then you take on that, the guy's a playmaker, high IQ. He's from Tennessee. He went to school at Oakland High School. He's from this area. Actually, was going to do an interview with him early in the process. We're going to do an interview with a lot of guys. Those things are still on the table, by the way. But these guys are players that I definitely think provide versatility for the Titans. When we look at the my picks, what we got going here, these are high level athletes that provide versatility. And we'll kind of review it once this is completed. But here we are again. We took a versatile guy. I think we kind of killed two birds with one stone with both Jacoby Stevens and Elijah Molden. Have versatile players that can play cornerback with Molden and safety. Then you have Stevens that can play linebacker and safety. So there you go. Now we have the ability to see what's going on with the edge, who's left. Dalen Hayes is another versatile guy that I really like. And out of all these players that's remaining, I think that he can add weight and still be versatile. I think Patrick Johnson can do the same thing a little bit later. Golson can be moved in the interior and be a nuisance. Kando is a height, weight, speed guy that might provide value for you. William Bradley King is a technician, but he may be a ways away. But the most pro ready right now, I think, is Dalen Hayes. You look back at tight end, who's remaining. I think by the next time we pick, we might have to pull the trigger. And for me, when you look at rankings, I waited long enough. I'm going to take Trey McKitty here. Really like Trey McKitty. His game he has an overall game, right? I'm getting the most bang for my buck with these prospects. Trey McKitty, excellent blocker, high level blocker. He's not a guy that you can say loses slowly, a term that's used a lot with blocking. You just want guys that can lose slowly. He's a guy that can actually hold his own blocking. And then we, line him out as an inline guy or an H-back, a flex move guy. He has that type of versatility. He still makes plays. Good route runner, one-handed catches, smooth hands, soft hands. Reminds me of a more physical Jared Cook. So I think that value there will be extremely good for the Titans. So we look here. We've already taken our tight end. I said that we're going to eventually need a running back. A lot of people, have high hopes for our running back group. I'm not one of them, but it depends on who's there, right? Of all the players that remain, the highest on my list and my board would be Khalil Herbert. And then Jamar Jefferson is also high on my board. Chris Evans would be a decent guy. Rakeem Boyd is a definitely sleeper. He's more of a linear runner. I can understand why people may not be as high on him. Elijah Mitchell is another guy that I think when you look at his production as well as his athletic quotients, based off of that, it gives it gives you a great picture of Mitchell and Boyd still being able to come in and kind of be a spell back and provide value. But there's nothing, I'm gonna admit, there's nothing super special about those that remain. Cooper Williams is extremely speedy and explosive. In Wang Wu is a guy at Iowa State who's often injured but kind of got healthy later on in the year and showed some burst. So this might not be the time to get one because I'm not overly impressed. You start looking at wide receiver again. We did not double dip. Look at who's remaining. Simi Fehoko is a big physical 4-3 running, huge wide receiver who I think also could play like a move flex, a big slot type of guy at the next level. That's something that Tennessee Titans wouldn't have. But I would say there are concentration drops there. Cornell Powell is a guy. It's very similar to AJ Brown's build in terms of the muscle density, a physical specimen all around. You got some guys left at the wide receiver position. Let's look at who we have. We got our tight end, Lee McNeil, boom, boom. Stone Forsythe, Elijah Molden. So let's see here. We've gotten enough safeties. I admit, guys, we've gotten enough potential guys that could convert. So can we get a pure position here? I bet that's what you guys are saying. Can we get a pure position here? You got all these versatile guys. Can we get a pure position somewhere? And if I'm following my board correctly, guys like Taron Jackson is a bit low here. I'm just not overly impressed with who's remaining, at these spots. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not just, going crazy over who's remaining. Corner, edge, interior defensive. So yeah, I'm not overly impressed. But I will say, at the wide receiver position, just getting somebody that provides some type of variance. I want somebody with speed, and Simi Fehoko does have speed. Size there with Jonathan Adams Jr. I think it's very well known how much I like Jonathan Adams Jr. So I don't think that's a secret, but I do want a bit more speed. Not necessarily someone's size. I want somebody that can freakishly get open and make plays. That is more of a route guy. I do like Jalen Darden. Most people would say I do not envy the job that GMs have to take. I actually embrace it. But I definitely want a separator here. I want a true separator that can win on his own. You guys are witnessing, the think tank, along with me thinking and balancing out the background noise, of course. But I'm going to stick to my guns. I mean, Cornell Powell was a top 10 wide receiver for me way back in January and still remained in the top 12, top 15 throughout the process. So, I mean, when you think about that value, but you look at the height, weight, speed of Fehoko, I still have to go Cornell Powell here. I haven't forgot. So with that being said, we have yet to take an edge. I think we have one more pick at 232. No, well, 215 and then 232. So, I mean, at this point, we have to address edge, right? I mean, it's about that time. I think this has been a consistent guy. I mean, I think technique-wise, I'm not sure that he's top 5 to top 7 technique-wise. The only thing is level of comp and size is the issue with William Bradley King. But once he gets into an NFL training program, I think that, put some weight on him, and he's going to be a great player. And I think that when I look at everybody that remains, other than running back, I will have to say Jamar Jefferson is my number 11 or 12 running back. King Boyd is top 10. Elijah Mitchell is in that range. But it's not like it's freakish talent. It's not like it's, these guys can be sustainers, but I can't do that when I have edge as a need and a guy like WBK that is a technician. He's a technician, man. You watch the tape on William Bradley King. He's the type of guy that provides a lot of pass rush moves, a significant pass rush plan for this to be where he's at. A collegiate player going to the NFL. He's above average in that category. I find it interesting that I don't think they have like specialists. I don't think they have kickers. And not saying that I would draft one, but they're the 33rd best team, or they have the 33rd best GMs, but they don't have kicker. And I'm just playing. I really like what they do um, at the Draft Network, but to say that you're the 33rd best when I'm not sure if everybody there keeps track of their selections like I do. I keep inventory of what I say and what I do, so there's actually record of what I say, so you can actually tangibly, you know, go back and compare. So I don't think you can be the 33rd best anything if you don't keep accountability. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Possibly stalling as well. Who knows? But value here. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna look through all of these and tell you I'm really high on Jimmy Morrissey, who's there as an interior offensive lineman. Jalen Moore is a good value pick, but like I said, we just took a tackle earlier. Safety, Coyle and Pickett. I do like that, but like I said, we've taken basically two safety type of products. Manny Rugamba is there. That's pretty cool. He played very hard. Trey Norwood has some production. Avery Williams provides several different spots. That's versatility. So he's an option there because honestly, this guy can return kicks, punts. He also has the build of a running back. I'll put him in on running back plays. He can play cornerback, preferably in the slot. So he provides extreme value there. And then we have not taken a traditional linebacker. Big on Neiman, big on Britt, big on Stewart and Buddy Johnson. So we haven't taken a traditional linebacker, but we have a guy in Jacoby Stevens that can play both. Edge, we've already taken that. Interior defensive lineman. I like Kemp. He played good in his All-Star games. Daquan Graham, quick twitchy guy in the interior. Malik Herring, the same thing. Malik Herring grew on me throughout the process. Had some big time stops there at Georgia. And I think the Titans, they could have another kind of three technique guy, as a reserve guy. But when it comes down to honestly, I think what he's able to provide, Avery Williams is starting to become bigger. Now, Sam Ellinger is a guy that he's top 10, top 12 for me as a quarterback, and we do need competition there. He's the only quarterback that I actually feel confident about as far as developing. And then he can actually run as well. I think that's a good value there. So I'm really torn between these three players. Avery Williamson, making sure I don't miss on Rashad Wildgoose. I was advised to rewatch his tape. So we'll see there. I'm definitely going to rewatch his tape. He could be the pick, and I have time. There's another day. He's more of a day 2, day 3 guy. Then you look on the interior. Do you want to go with Taquan Graham, another 3 tech who's super athletic, or do you want to go with Malik Herring, who's super athletic? Who do you want here as far as rotational, or do you want somebody like Ellinger, who the stats say that most of these guys never fully develop anyway? So it's at the position of where you take a potential QB2 to develop. Do you take the corner that's going to be the the more versatile guy and provide immediately? I'm going to have to go with versatility here again for me. And the thing with Avery Williamson is, the guy is a high level special teams guy, and I think that's the most immediate impact. I like Ellinger, but I don't think that he provides enough. I think Malik Herring and guys like Taquan Graham can provide something, but how much of that is actually gonna help at this point? Could you find a veteran later that can do it? There's not many special team aces that can kind of do what I had do. So user picks. This is who we picked, who I picked. I think that's a solid draft, man. Solid pack, solid job. Let me take pictures of this just in case this doesn't save. I can share it with you guys later. So with that being said, that's the live draft. We picked who we picked. I hope that it makes sense to you guys. I know if you did your homework, you know those are excellent selections. It made sense, right? We got high value guys. We got guys that could come in and immediately provide talent. They're all versatile type of guys. Bateman, Molden, Powell, William Bradley King, Stone Forsythe, Ali McNeil, Avery Williams, Jacoby Stevens. So all these guys are going to provide some type of value and versatility for the Titans, and I expect them to be big ballers at the next level. So thanks for tuning in. Guys, enjoy the draft. I'm going to enjoy it. Now I have to tend to all the noise that was being made while I was making my video. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being with me along this journey of talent evaluation. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. This organic, it's always going to be organic and raw with me. Thanks, and I will see you on the next one.